Good evening. Welcome to Mentality. You hear this over and over again. Nice guys finish last. Women just don't want a nice guy. They want this jerk, the bad boy. So you think to yourself, I've got to learn how to be a complete player. I've got to learn how to put women down. I've got to learn how to not call her, how to make her want me. I've got to play games. I've got to create attraction that way. That's what's going to work. Does it really? Are women attracted to the bad boy? Is it true that good guys finish last? That's our topic on Mentality. Mentality is a talk show for men where we discuss issues relating to men but affecting women. My name is Ian Bohua, and my co-host, as usual, Pastor S.
Hello.
I'm Edward Quach.
Hey, hi.
The bad boy. This is your show.
Thank you.
Let's hit the streets and see what men think about Quach. I mean, about bad boys.
Depends on, actually on that question it depends. It depends on a lot of things on your social. It depends on what you want in life. Yeah, I will say mostly yes.
It all depends on who you call the good guy or the bad guy. And I don't know, because like if it were me, for example, and assuming that I take myself as the good guy, I would say yeah.
I would say they finish last but have the last laugh, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to who's going to take care of your needs, who's going to take care of your kids. You might want a bad boy for the first few years when you're dating, having fun and all that, but when you grow older, for ladies, they want somebody mature, somebody who will take care of everything around them, who will take control. And as we know, that doesn't happen in most cases with the bad boys.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Quach.
Indeed.
You are known as a bad boy.
Right now, you know.
Do you have them swarming over you?
Most times. But, you know, to be...
So you do agree
That what?
that women like bad boys?
Yeah, but let's go back to what the definition, by the way, of
Bad boy.
the so-called the bad boy is. Because, you know, when you try and put it into context, bad boys sometimes, for some people, for example, Pastor S, would think that that is a guy who basically dips his stick in various oil tanks, okay? Did I put that in a language you could understand?
Keep going.
Fantastic.
Let's
But
not
then
get
you see now, but when we talk about relationships, women, by the way, the one thing they hate, of course, is boredom. But what brings on boredom in relationships is predictability. There's Simon, he'll go to work, he'll finish work, he'll come home with the flowers, he'll do his date night, he'll do his bonding session, and he'll do same routine day in, day out. Nothing really changes. Now, and these people who are so-called bad boys, is that because they breed unpredictability. And unpredictability, of course, keeps people on their toes. It keeps people on their toes, it keeps people on edge.
Does the bad boy ever settle down?
Of course he does. I mean, everyone gets married eventually.
And when he settles down, he becomes a good boy.
Yes.
Let me just respond to some of the things you said.
Right.
Predictability.
Right.
You define it very differently from what I and other ladies define.
Now, don't consider yourself a lady, my brother.
No, of course.
Okay.
Ladies out there. The good ladies out there. I knew you had to get something. Because you're in the wrong corner. But let me tell you, as a bad boy, one of the things that causes you to be a bit attractive to certain ladies is because, and it's mainly the ladies who don't have much of control over themselves, because they know, even though you are
it's only loose women.
Because they know, even though you are dating another person, you would still go out with them. So they know you're fun in that way. They know that you can do all sorts of things with them and still go home to your lady. They know that you don't have rules or boundaries or things like that. It's not about excitement, because being a good boy doesn't mean you are not exciting. You're exciting in the right things, not in the wrong things. All right, most chicks would love to hang out. Those who love to hang out with the bad boys
Yes.
for a while,
Yes.
as they do some fun,
Yes.
as they figure out what to do.
Yes.
But when chicks or ladies want to settle down,
Yes.
because of being predictable,
Yes.
predictability,
Yes.
they will settle down with the person they know is going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
And Ian, who knows is not going to go out.
Right.
Predictability is what is king during a relationship. If it's fun, then you could do that unpredictable.
So what you're saying is that the girl will go out with bad boys, but when she decides to settle down, she will not pick a bad boy to settle down.
She's probably at that point going out with the bad boy. But when she decides, I want to be a good girl, I want to be a mother, I want to be stable, I want to have a family, I want to make sense in the community where I am in, she's probably going to ditch you and go for someone else who makes sense in that context.
Let's be clear. That's why I went back to the very beginning, all right? I'm going back to the beginning now, when the definition of what a bad boy is.
Yes, yes.
You see, I mean, Pastor S gives me the impression a bad boy is a cheater.
Of course, a bad boy, will have part of that.
is because I will show you a lot of good men who are philanderers, by the way. Okay, you see, what we're talking about is, and to me, a definition of a bad boy is a man who's very unpredictable in everything that he does.
Including character, right?
Exactly. To me, a bad boy is that it is me first and then everyone else later.
That's
Yeah.
a bad boy.
A bad boy is a selfish
That
man.
is true.
Yeah,
That is
that's what
true.
we are talking
That is
about.
Do you understand
We're
what
on
I'm
the
saying?
same page.
Now, that's my definition.
Because if you're selfish,
It's me first and then you
yeah.
after the fact.
If you're selfish, then
Yes.
you're going to have your chick and leave her there
Right.
and go for someone
That's
else.
the thing.
That's why
Now,
I said
that's a bad boy.
we're not contradicting.
Yes.
In that case, then I'm saying a lady is willing to hang out with you for some time.
Yes.
For a limited period, if that lady is sober. After that, they're going to say, I can't deal with this for too long.
Okay.
It's a temporal thing. But let's talk about some of the attractions of a
No.
bad boy.
But before you go to attractions, you see, Pastor S, the problem, his social sphere, okay, extends to maybe a restaurant, the banking hall, maybe an airport lounge.
But I'm hanging out with you.
No. maybe an airport lounge, a hotel, of course, when he's on transit, biashara, not for nocturnal activities, and of course, the church setting.
And yours?
No, you see, now mine is a full spectrum. So when he says, she'll hang around for a while, or those whiles tend to be very long, my brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if they don't want to settle and they don't care about
Yes,
it.
because you see, like now, I mean, when we say, for example, a bad boy wants to settle down, he'll say, maybe let's go to church, all right, and look for a good girl there. But then those of us that do go to church, sometimes we feel a lot of warrior for that church-going girl.
All right, let's
Do you
just
understand what I'm saying?
switch it now.
Yes.
Are there bad girls?
Oh, of course,
Now, are they also very attractive?
indeed.
bad
Especially
boys.
To bad boys or to good boys?
I think it's then you flip the script. It's to good boys.
To good boys.
Yeah.
So would you go out? You
Because
are
if
a bad
she's selfish,
boy. You are a bad boy.
Yeah, would I go out with a
you
bad
go
girl?
out with
No,
a-
no. Because, basically it's, we're polarized. We'll never, ever reach center. Do you understand what I mean? Because I'm a selfish person. She's a selfish person. Wherever would they be that sort of connection?
So what
Do you
you're
understand
saying,
what I'm
one of the
saying?
reasons why opposites attract
Yes.
is just for mere, you just want to discover what does it look like.
Indeed.
I am not a bad girl, so I want to see how does this bad boy look like.
I'm Livingstone
because
and
he-
you're Zambia.
He breaks stones.
Yes.
So there breaks rules. You're confusing me. But let's talk about other reasons.
Right.
That's one.
Attractions.
Just curiosity.
Right.
You just want to be curious to
Right.
know. And of course, when you discover what this man is about, you're probably going to run at some point. It
Right.
could take you a year, 6 months, but you're going to
Right.
run.
Right.
Let's talk about other attractions. I think sometimes it's just because you're a celebrity and you're a bad boy.
Right.
And then some
It's an
girls
image
just
that
think-
you've-
It's an image
Yes.
thing that you have created.
No, you guys. First of all, let's be clear. I mean, we deal in a region where, to me, the only so-called celebrities are politicians. Okay, I mean, let's. The people you talk about, the context you talk about, is these are personalities. All right, but the majority of the bad boys, by the way, all right, is that guy who's able to get two women. All right? First of all, they know each other. He's not married to either of them, and they live in separate houses. But you know what? Game to game, let me play both sides against the middle. Right?
And they both know, and they're okay with that.
Yes, no, of course they're not okay with it, but there's really nothing they can,
They can do about
it. So
it.
that's why I tell you, pastors, rarely do those women get out of that scenario. What these women actually try and do is to tie this person down.
So it's a competition
change
between the
them to
two of
become
them.
a
Exactly.
good boy.
It's very rare. You'll find a woman who, once she's engaged with this person, that she will deliberately say, salute, it's been real, I'm out.
So
9
the
times out of 10,
attraction to a bad boy is a challenge for the lady to try and change this man.
9 times out of 10, it's the guy who will tell her, you know what, it's been real piss off.
All right, let's talk about finishing last.
Right.
Because that's the main crux of our discussion.
Yes.
For me, the way I would answer that question is, what's a race?
For example, if if we're vying for the attentions and the attractions of a lady, all right? And of course, now it's not a race, she's at the 100-meter point and we both started at the same time. But if there's a woman we see somewhere, and of course in this context it would be in a restaurant because there's no else that would relate. You know, it would then be a scenario of who would be...
There's no race for me
Now, is this race to date her or to marry her?
No,
Is it the same or it doesn't matter?
No, it's to basically engage her completely, which is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course physically.
So for you, it is to conquer.
That's it.
There's no race there.
That's why I
because
said
I'm
Livingston.
not after that. That's why I said the
That's
race,
why you finished last.
We define the race.
That's why you
In
finished
your
last.
field,
Doesn't
I
it start
finish
there?
last.
Yes.
In the real field, I'll finish first. Let me tell you why good boys finish first.
Last.
First, of course. It's because they've already defined the race. It's
Right.
going to take you a few years before you eventually understand what race is and what success is.
Right.
Because for you, success is getting all of these many girls liking you and taking you to bed.
Yes.
For me, success is getting a good woman, settling down.
Right.
Look at us.
Yes.
You're not married yet.
Yes.
Gonna go
Because
there.
you don't care about that.
Eventually, you would like to settle down and have kids.
No.
Okay.
Listen.
Those are the important
Women
races.
want-
Both breathe, by the way. You sound like women with handbags. Just calm down. Listen.
just
What
answer
I'm
the
saying,
question.
not eventually I'd like to settle down.
Yes.
Maybe I'm settled down already.
How?
How?
But we have discussed this before during this
You're
series.
still
by the way.
playing?
No. Hey, she's watching. What I'm saying is that we have
You're
said...
still a bad boy?
Yes.
You're still a bad boy.
Yes. But playing, that's a story for another day. But the thing is this. The thing is I'm settled down. But would I like to have children? That is now the question we're going to ask about the future. Okay? But the point is, by the time I settle down, and like I said, both of you are the exception to the rule. I will not be amongst that 50% of people who went and did a trial and error. By the time I decide to do something because I'm a bad boy, Yanni, I've done it and I've done it completely.
After sampling everything.
Whether it is eating, whether it is drinking or smoking crack, by the time I finish with it.
We're now going round and
Yes.
round in circles.
Yes.
I think it needs a lady to come here and tell us.
Is she a bad girl?
Whether it's not about her. She's going to come and tell us whether good guys finish last. You're watching Mentality. Don't dare touch that dial. Welcome back to Mentality. Today we're looking at the bad boy versus the good boy. Our guest is the gorgeous Wahoo, who's a musician, a wife, and a mother.
That's true.
Before she tells us whether Kwach finishes first or not, let's see what the ladies think.
I prefer the good guys, because they're morally upright, and I would like to have such a guy in my life.
Bad boys have their own appeal. They're different, outspoken, they're troublesome in more ways than one. So most girls want a thrill. That's the truth. They want a thrill, someone who's exciting. Okay, because in comparison to good boys are very focused. They know what they want, where they want to be. So you find a girl who maybe is a scatterbrain to some extent. She'll be very happy with the bad boy because he has the thrill, because she's looking at him in short term. But eventually she will find someone who's a good boy.
I think bad boys are more adventurous compared to good boys. But for a realist like me, if it's settling down, I'd go for a good boy.
Wahoo, straight to you. Do you believe that the good boy, good guy finishes last?
I totally don't agree. I don't agree with it. Here's my thing. I think it really depends on where you are as a woman, where you are at in your life. You know, it depends on how old I am and a couple of other things, because I was thinking back to myself. When I was 21, when I'm looking for a guy, the kind of guys I was attracted to were spontaneous. You know, let's go have fun. I've just gotten paid. Let's go finish this money. Let's get on my bike and let's see how fast it can go. You know, that was how much fun can we have together? How much can you thrill me? But when I get to 27, and I'm thinking now I want to settle down, chances are I'll say, laters, it's been fun. Thanks for the thrill. I have an experience, and now let's go look for the husband material.
The nice guy.
The nice guy who can organize, because what a woman would be looking for in a husband, potentially, is a guy who, will you be a leader? You know, can you lead? Meaning, can you handle your finances? Are you investment minded? You know, it's okay to have fun, you know, but let it not be our priority.
What about predictability? Is it a big issue for you?
Predictability was a bigger issue for me when I was 21 than it is now. Actually, now I'm quite happy with I understand.
Yes.
In fact, if I get home and you're not home at 7:30, like, where are you? You know,
what is it?
I'm
So the
very
bottom
okay
line,
with that.
does the good guy finish last?
No, the good guy finishes. But it
speak now.
depends, though,
Yes,
Coach.
yes.
Wait,
Okay,
it
hold
depends
on,
on what
babe.
finishing
No,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's
Don't fight. Don't
put
fight.
finishing in context.
Yeah.
Because in terms, if it was for the attentions of Wahoo, right? The bad boy finished at 21. Do you understand? And you did that at 32. Boss, the bad boy is also a stage in a man's life. There's no one who was a bad boy.
For some have been bad boys for life.
Forever.
Really? You know some people who are there from the
Be
time they're
careful.
teenagers.
Be warned.
No, you
We
see,
have
no.
seen some. I know one.
Let's see,
Yes.
let's see.
Or you know
Do
one person.
know
Do
one.
bad boys expire, and can a bad boy grow older?
It
Or
depends.
does he get to an age where you believe he's no longer a bad boy?
It really depends on the guy's personality. There are some guys who are okay saying, hey, in my heyday, man,
yes.
I played the field,
Yes.
I was the kingpin man,
Right.
all the chicks and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And there's some guys who want to still believe they're in their heyday.
We all know about Wahoo's story, okay? Now, that is out there in the public domain. So when we look at, for example, her husband, okay? This was a guy who some would say was a bad boy. But now he's married to this beautiful, intelligent, educated woman, and he has a child, all right? Did the good guy finish last? Hell to the no. Do you understand
Okay,
what I'm saying?
hang on,
Fantastical. Next.
Was your husband a bad boy?
Now, why are you asking the wife?
Okay,
How can you ask the wife?
No. Sip.
So you read the newspaper?
Was
You have your turn, so let's talk now.
Was Madenge a bad boy?
Okay, can I explain my
Please
answer
go ahead.
before I
Yeah,
give
before
the
you get
answer?
divorced.
Go ahead.
By the way. He's watching.
Go ahead.
Here is the thing.
No, by the way,
I
seek
think-
legal advice before you answer.
He's a lawyer. It's okay.
He's a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Was he a bad boy? Actually, I wouldn't really say so.
Let's flip it now. Are there bad girls?
Of course.
Are the men attracted to them? And what kind of men are attracted to them?
Those are good men.
Here's what I think.
good guys.
There's the opposite is also the same.
Yeah.
When a guy is looking for a thrill, he's not going to hook up with the good girl. He'll hook up with the bad girl. You know, when he's looking for a thrill. When he's looking for a wife,
Now, what kind of guy is this? Is this the okay guy or is it the quatch guy?
it depends on what he's going through, really. He can be the quatch guy or the okay guy. It could be,
So it's
I've
really
just
both,
gotten
yeah.
hurt or I'm just upset. I don't want any serious relationship. You look like a lot of fun to me. Let's go and just have a good time.
Now, that's why, for example, people like the bad boy, myself, would never go out with a bad girl, all right? And unfortunately, it's the Pastor S's who come across these bad girls. Because, you see, we know them.
You don't understand what a good boy is. Because a good boy, by definition,
Yes.
will not be attracted to a bad girl. Because he has values. because he knows what he's looking for. She said as much.
Yes.
A good boy knows what he's looking for,
Yes.
knows that he wants to settle down.
Right.
He's not looking for the thrill at
Right.
that point.
Right.
He's looking for someone they can hang out with,
Right.
get to know each other,
Right.
and eventually settle down. If, of course, he backslides, as we say, and he becomes a bad boy at that point,
Yes.
looking for thrill,
Yeah.
and he's going to be in trouble, and,
Right.
and that's another case.
Right.
But if he remains a good boy,
Right.
like the Simon I know,
Yes.
he's probably not going to be attracted to that guy.
Yeah, but you
he's
see,
going to say,
Pastors-
"Girl, you have issues."
Pastors, you know, that means, I think for the first time, you are hearing me, you're not listening to me.
Oh, boy.
What I'm
He's
saying
become
is...
a woman now.
You know,
That's what you said a woman does.
because what I'm saying is that these people meet, and then because he's a good boy, he wants to get to know all these things that you've described. Yeah? And I've seen a lot of, and some of you, Wahoo, and Ian, I know you have definitely. And because you're a counselor, I know you've come across these scenarios. This person and this woman used to be whatever. Whether it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. The point is, she was. She now is something different. She was then. I would never get involved with that kind of person because you know what? When that happened 20 years ago, I was there, been there, done that, I'm gone.
Do you know why you wouldn't do that? Because you have no faith that people change. People do change. And when they change and their values are different, they become good people. And at that point, I wouldn't mind to hang out with such a person because at that point, our values match.
So I'll just add on to that. So people change.
Yes.
So bad boys also change.
Not all, though.
If they decide.
Not
Yeah,
all.
yeah, but-
not
They make a
everybody.
choice.
Yeah, but people change.
There's hope for them.
But we talked
Yeah.
about
So there's
those
hope
ones
for you,
who
man.
who say in my heydays. Those ones have changed.
Right.
Yes, so people do change.
So,
But not all
brother,
of them.
there's hope for you. Don't worry.
Now, Wahoo, many young girls look up to you as a role model. What is your advice to them about this bad boy thing?
I'd say, like Pastor S said, you don't have to go through the experience to learn, you know. Of course, you don't have to be looking for your husband at 21, but you also don't have to go through heartbreak at 21 in that regard, you know, because, you know, it's not necessary. I'd say it's actually not even fair. There's some really nice 21-year-old boys who get so upset because they're like, yes, I'm 21. I'm really not a bad guy. I just don't have that much money like the 30-year-old. But if you give me time, I'm a work in progress.
Then, that's for the young ladies. What will you tell Quatch? I mean, what will you tell bad boys?
I'd say...
And baby, look at Ian.
Okay, look at me. I'm the bad boy. Tell me.
I'd say the same applies, you know, unfortunately, at some point or the other, everybody wants to be with someone and needs to be with someone. And the good girl that you want to settle down with at that point will not be looking for you. She'll be looking for a good man, you know? So if I were you, and that's where you're headed to, or that's your frame of mind, you're looking for this good girl, you better just style up.
I hope you've heard all
Pastor
that.
Esumeskia.
I hope you have heard all that. All right, we've come to the end. Let's have our final remarks.
Bad girls and bad boys out there, there's hope for you. You don't have to be stuck in that rut forever. There's hope for you. But I will say good girls and good boys, they don't finish last because their race is defined. If your race is a good family, trouble-free relationship, no heartaches or wounds, if that is your race and you want to have a good life, then run it. You will finish. At whatever time you finish, it's your race and it's a good race.
Thank you. Wahoo, final words?
I just say, you know what, at the end of the day, we all mark our own path in life. I'd say mark it carefully, use wisdom as you make your decisions in relationships and that sort of thing. And you don't have to be, experience doesn't have to be your teacher. You can learn from other people's experiences and make your own decisions.
Okay. Do we have to? Yeah, we have to. Go ahead, Quatch.
You know what? I mean, Pastor S describes it like a communicable disease. And you know, it really, really, really isn't. The premise was and is, do good boys finish last? And you know what? to me, being a quote-unquote bad boy, it's a stage, and like he said, you can change, but you know what? Go through that stage, and by the time you've run that race, no one is going to get one over on you. So you know what? Play on, player.
Don't good guys finish last? I say absolutely not. Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful
It's
guest.
been so much fun. Thank you for having me on the set.
This has been Mentality. Until next week, good night.